Buddy, I got your money. It's right. Good. But
Charlie,
you're losing your belt.
Wait, Charlie, I can't hear what you're saying.
What's it like? As a boxer, Charlie was the top contender, #2 in the world. Then the fight game changed.
I'm coming with you.
No, you're not.
I'm either coming with you or you're fishing for your keys in the sewer. Oh my god, that was close. Whoa!
Stubborn kid.
Real steel.
Real CG steel.
I've always thought that this was kind of like an afterthought or a dream of one of those guys who used to participate in those fucking stupid-ass robot wars where they'd get that eye vacuum cleaner or whatever.
the Roomba?
And put an axe on it with a fucking shovel. I think there was like 4 seasons of that fucking show, and somebody finally woke up and realized that was stupid. And they're like, this is what I was hoping that would evolve into. Guys with remote controls fucking battling with huge ass robots like Transformers.
In this day where we have like all these movies like Battleship, they talking about making Monopoly and all this kind of stuff.
Hasbro is spending money.
Yeah, somebody really did want to make a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie, and as long as those necks don't fly up, if the moment that neck flies up, lawsuit.
There with this Rock'em Sock'em Robot. But you can't like sue somebody for having fighting robots because you go like, well, Transformers. So,
well, somebody said, you know what? Here's what we do. We can't get Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Fuck Hasbro, man, or whoever makes that damn toy. This is what we're going to do. There's a story out there from Richard Matheson about fighting robots. We'll just change that shit around.
Completely.
Keep the necks down, and we got our Rock'em Sock'em Robots just with a different name. We'll call it Real Steel.
The original story is called Steel.
Yeah. But the Twilight Zone episode 2.
And it's funny that
we leave Marvin.
And as silly as like the concept was there, where they got fighting robots, and then the guy who's got one ends up wearing the robot armor himself to get in there and fight. Well, obviously that's not going to work in the context of this film because they would just
That sounds badass though.
But they do find a way to kind of echo that still is kind of honest to that original story.
Yeah, it was the kind of thing where I'm like, well, for this to be based on that story, they should have gotten away from it. But yeah, they worm their way back into it. Of course, along the way, they go like, hey, did you see this movie called The Champ? We should use some of that too.
Yeah.
Oh, and Rocky, man, if you don't use a boxing movie about Rocky, then what's the point?
Okay, I'm sorry, but the only movie I could tell that whoever made this film was really watching was fucking Over the Top. Because it involved a guy fucking driving around with his goddamn kid.
I know.
That they both had a rocky relationship, driving around in a truck with his kid and going around the country fucking arm wrestling.
You have seen that movie
Why don't we take the arm wrestling out and add fucking Transformers? You got a movie right there.
That is true.
Any sort of father-son, difficult bonding thing on top of a sports movie, we've seen that more than a few times, I believe.
Yeah.
That's what the point of the movie, that's what its emotional core is supposed to be. And I got to say that part didn't work for me at all.
Anything that's a rise to glory sports film, that's all in here. Except they've reduced it down to something that's more of a kids film.
Yeah,
and I'm cool with that. I don't mind that, and I don't even mind the casting in this movie. Leon, I know you had a problem with Hugh Jackman kind of playing an asshole in this film, but I didn't mind it. I mean,
I had a problem with Hugh Jackman pretending to play an asshole, but not actually playing one. That's probably one of my biggest problems with this movie.
We do have a loser named Charlie, played by Hugh Jackman, who...
Yes, a loser played by one of the most handsome men in the world, but go ahead.
What are you talking about? Girls fall for handsome losers all the time.
That's true. That is true.
He's a boxer, man. Come on. You can't ever say that all boxers are all like hideous looking men who don't deserve love.
Leon wants a guy with a broken nose and a cauliflower ear. But that's the reason why I can accept him being handsome is because we have a boxer who probably had to cut his career short because he exists in a world without boxing now. Turns out that people wanted more of a brutal sport. They wanted to get crazy. So instead of having people kill each other, they turned the boxers into robots, which is ridiculous because really in society, we want to see people die.
There would be a market for this type of robot fighting, but certainly not one that would supplant humans beating the shit out of each other.
No, we want if NASCAR could find a way to like burn a driver every week, they would do it if it was legal. I mean, we want to see that shit. But you know what? Forget about it. It's a movie, and so Charlie is a washed out former boxer who travels the country in a beat up old freight truck fighting robots in the underground circuit, and he's terrible. His stubbornness and his ego, they cause him to lose fight after fight. He even loses to a bull. at a small town county fair. Now, if you can't beat up a bull with a robot, then that means you just fucking suck. Anyway, to make things worse, Charlie soon discovers that he has an 11-year-old son that he's never met before named Max, played here by Dakota Goyo, who's possibly being put in his custody after his mother has died. At the beginning, they just established they don't like each other. Hugh Jackman's like, boy, I don't want you. The only reason why I want you is so I can sell you right after I get you.
Which for a kid's film, I was like, wow, okay. Like I've never seen that much of an asshole from a father that had a kid and just did not give a fuck.
I mean, just flat out told him, like, wait a minute, where you going?
Wherever you are no better than that fucking dangling arm from my truck right now. I mean, you're just another part that I don't need.
And then the son is just kind of like, hey, well, it's cool because I don't give a shit about you either. So, look, you just have to be stuck with me for a few weeks. After that, you can sell me off to my aunt, played here by Hope Davis. You can sell me off to her and her rich-ass husband. And after that, we're cool. But turns out that this kid actually is pretty good at figuring out how to make these robots fight. And, of course, Charlie is not one to pass up an opportunity. He's like, well, kid, if you're going to ride with me, let's see what you can do with these robots. The kid is so good that they go to a scrapyard, of course, after Charlie wrecks a robot, and they look for spare parts to build another one. His kid finds like this sparring robot, not even a full one, just buried in the mud, just lying there. And Charlie says, hey, kid, you seem to like that robot. If you want him, you can get him. Then it's yours. Just don't bug me about it. Kid somehow picks up the robot, brings him back. The robot's name is Adam. Turns out that this robot is not only great at being a sparring partner, but it shadow boxes. It mimics everything that, if it's put in the right mode, that its owner can do.
Yeah, this robot was struck by lightning and has the soul of a dead boxer.
Yeah,
Right.
Well,
his name was Johnny Five.
It turns out that, with Charlie being a great boxer at one time in his life, can actually box a little bit. And if this robot can mimic Charlie's moves, then they might have a chance of going on to some pro robot fighting circuit all the way up to the top. And, this kind of movie, man, like I said, I know you guys are going to come down on this pretty bad, but I can't excuse this for being a kid's movie. This right here, I mean, all of us didn't like Transformers. I don't think we liked any of the Transformers movies. And I'm looking at this and I'm like,
I go out and say I hate them.
Yeah. Well, see, I look at this and I'm like, I'm going to get criticized for this, but to me, this is the kind of film that Transformers should have been.
I agree with you, actually. I mean, I know you're waiting for us to come down on you, and I didn't really particularly like this movie, but you're right. This is one of the things. When I was 12 years old, I would have eaten this shit up with a spoon, man. I would have loved this movie, with the possible exception of, as Leon was saying, Hugh Jackman's, the way they've written his dad to be an asshole but not an asshole, is that would have pissed me off even as a kid. That I was like, what the fuck? When am I supposed to care about this guy? The movie goes, and now. The whole thing with the shadow boxing, though, is really the key that they've found to try and sell this film to you in two ways. One, Hugh Jackman's character, of course, Charlie, is a returning old boxer who once had a shot at the title, but he, totally didn't do it, whether it was lack of confidence or whatever, who knows, but he wasn't good enough for it.
Yeah.
So the whole time, at some point, to some degree, he's going to end up fighting.
Yeah, he's got to have his redemption.
Yeah, he's got to have his redemption that way. And the other one is, all right, short of entering a thing in the film where oh, look, it's a robot actually has a soul, the way they manage to make it look like this thing has more of a character and a personality than it really does is that shadowing, because the kid sort of cock its head towards it and it cocks its head towards the kid. And from a visual sense, it looks like your robot has emotions and feelings, even though the movie never tries to outright say it does.
Even though it hints, it gives you hints enough to where, you have these shots where you see the robot looking into a mirror and I'm like, this is it. This is where Johnny Five comes alive. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And they tease, but I mean...
There's no lightning storm.
But the thing is, it works because it gives you just enough to make you want to believe that this thing actually has a soul.
Like I said, it could have used something like that, because most of the emotional stuff in here rung really hollow and really... Just we've seen this type of thing so many times before. No one really seemed like they were really into it. Hugh Jackman didn't seem like he was really into it. But... then they keep showing you really cool robots fighting, and it's filmed in a way that you can tell who's fighting who.
It really is.
Yeah, that was the saving grace.
And I was like, wow, these robot fights are actually pretty awesome.
Which is the way it should have concentrated on it. But once you realize it is a kids movie and you see those robot fights, I mean, that's what really sucked me in, because the first 20, 30 minutes, I was kind of dozing off because, you know, they're trying to establish this relationship, give you all the backstories of these characters. And for a while I was like, okay, you know what? This is good and all, but right now I don't care. I'm here to see some robots fight, and you better hurry up and get to it before I just lose complete interest.
Yeah, because that main character's not likable or interesting.
No, but once they do, I mean, it really turned into something I like because, I mean, wow. For once, I can see what the fuck is going on when two robots are fighting each other. It's not like a fucking auto parts store blowing up in my face.
Okay,
I'm
that
like,
being
wow.
said, I had one big complaint
God
about
damn it,
that
son.
because the robot fights were really cool, and you're like, man, I just want to watch these robots fight until the big final event where it suddenly goes, you know what, let's just montage our way through this entire fight to get to the end. No one needs to see this fight.
I thought that went on too long.
I was like, wait, I want to see more of the actual fight.
Oh, did you? I was like, come on, you guys. I've seen all the Rockies. Wrap this shit up.
That fight was a complete Rocky, just fucking rip off moment. Yeah,
too much so. I want to try to not see it that way, and yet this robot is turning into Sylvester Stallone every time I look at it.
I mean, fucking Hugh Jackman is screaming, Adrian! It's like, Adrian ain't there. What the hell are you screaming at? Even though I completely understand you, Leon, about the whole aspect of these guys like acting like they're assholes, because both him and the dad, Hugh Jackman and the kid Max. Okay. It did feel like I felt like I was watching like kind of an old timey Disney movie where the drama is really played up, and it's like Hugh Jackman felt like, man, dude, do you think you're on Broadway right now or something? Because you're kind of over exaggerating the being an asshole. Like, come on, kid, I ain't got time for you. I'm a busy man. I got things to do.
They're trying to tell me he's a loser, but all I see is a guy who doesn't shave. Hugh Jackman, it's like, okay, the way he loses that first robot against the bull. It's done in such a clumsy way. It's like, okay, I got a fragile robot and I got a big guy who's going to kick the shit out of me if I lose. So all I got to do is just stay on target. Oh, there's some girls. Let me look away. It's like, really? Y'all going to just use something that obvious to make him lose the robot? And then he doesn't seem like he's all that broken up by it. I'm like, you know what? The reactions are everything. And if he's not that upset, why should I be that upset?
If he's not that upset, then why is he even doing this in the first place?
Jesus.
Why is this his job?
Y'all are so insensitive. The man has a gambling problem. It's not his fault. No, you don't even have a right to get angry at him, man. What the hell is going on?
Disease.
Yeah, what the fuck,
I
man?
get it. They're telling me he has a gambling problem, and yet he never seems like he's really that worried about it.
Irritating sideline story where you're supposed to be like, oh, she'll be his saving grace. Evangeline Lilly playing like, you know, the girl who inherited her father's gym where he used to train as a boxer.
Yeah.
There's a guy with real money who wants to buy this place.
Come on, like you're really gonna sell your dad's gym?
If you don't make rent, I can't make payments, and I won't have a choice.
Your father would climb out of his grave and kick your ass if you sold.
No, my father would climb out of his grave and kick your ass.
Bailey.
Don't.
Don't what?
Don't do that. Don't that.
Hey. Don't what?
Don't do that thing.
No, you like that thing?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that thing. I used to once, briefly. Now I like money more.
I don't believe you.
I don't care.
And they clearly have a romantic angle there. And yet it's one of those things that, like, why is she even in this fucking movie? She's there because eventually you've got to get past how the movie's designed him to be such a ridiculous idiot and to go like, oh, but she